Welcome
Got
back.
it.
Welcome back.
Welcome back,
It feels like
everybody.
we haven't done this in a while, but I guess we haven't since we had a special guest on our last
Yes.
episode.
Oh,
And so
Shout out to Dane Caston. You know, I was summoned not to listen to it until it airs. So I'm going to be listening to that episode with, hopefully you guys already listened to it. And so
yeah.
I'm excited. And he did not come home to give me no pillow
Of
talk of
course.
what's
I know he
happening,
wouldn't.
what y'all talked about. And I was like, so how was it? And he was like, it was fine.
But he was also caught by surprise because,
Completely.
of course, I will do that. So it's fair.
Yeah. So
Got
we had a
it.
good chat, though. It was really good.
I'm excited.
So, how is everyone's week been?
Ah.
It's giving.
I'm breathing easy. That's all I can say is I'm breathing easy. I think I'm really becoming emotionally aware of the fact that I'll be leaving here soon.
Oh,
And it's starting to affect me in a way
Okay.
unpack.
Now you see how we feel. Sorry.
Oh, you guys have been feeling like this is a
Well,
terrible feeling to feel.
I've been feeling like I'm not sure what's going on, but also every time Rachel mentions it, like
It's a reminder.
because Rachel's so unclear, it makes me feel like I should be so unclear of what's happening, what's going on. But then at the same time, when we talk to you, you're so calm. Like, yeah, I just think it's going to be December or January or whatever my lease is up. And I'm just like, I need to be in the same energy as sis who's going through it.
Yeah,
I can't be going through it for her.
For me, I'm like preparing for, like, I feel like there's someone holding the Band-Aid corner and it's like getting your eyebrows waxed and you don't know when she's going to yank it off. And so
That's such
I
a
have
good
this,
analogy.
that's how I feel, where I'm like, I feel like it's coming. And so there's this anxiousness and all this happening. And I know it's going to get yanked off. And I'm like, I'm going to scream.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. And so now the fact that you're feeling something, I'm like, welcome to the party.
Yes, that's a huge relief for me because I think part of me is also just trying to ignore it until it happens because I'm trying to just stay present. But last night I was like, oh my God, like this is, and also for the listener, I'm planning to sell all my things and travel around the world.
You have been selling all your things.
Yes, I have been. So it's like less and less furniture in here. It's like happening slowly, but it's like a means to an end. And like as we get closer and closer to that day, I'm getting like a little bit. But
yes.
It's
I feel like you said that so graciously and lightly that, you know, I'm just going to sell my things and travel the world. After I became a mom and I realized how I used to say things like that and not recognizing like people don't have so much freedom to just be like, I'm just going to pack all my things and travel the world. That's so amazing. And I'm so happy for you that you decided to do it once again. You know, it's one thing to do it one time when you're young, but it's another thing to like do it again when you're older, much wiser and in a different space.
Yeah, completely different. I'm watching it all unfold. It feels like a haunted house. Like I'm excited, but like I don't know what's around the corner. But like I'm still going through it. I'm still moving forward. I'm still pressing
That means
on,
you're syncing up with the feeling that I've been feeling.
Okay, that's
why I keep asking what's happening. When is it? Because I don't want to be surprised. Where I'm like, and that's why I kept saying, hey, don't give us a 3-day notice. Don't give us, you know what I mean? That's why. Because I'm like, I need to feel warmed in.
Part of it, I don't know a lot of it. Like, for example, I was aiming for December 29th, like, because that's when my lease would be like the last day. So I was going to fly out on December 29th. My mom will be in Jamaica, the country that I'm going to first, on the 28th. So I was like, we could just make that. I'll just stay. We'll enjoy the holiday together, go into the new year together. It'll be a really nice, smooth transition. I'll be around family right before I go out into the world. And so that happened. And then my client just invited me to her baby shower, which is December 26th in Miami. So I'm like, might as well just go to Miami. Then she's like, this is happening in February in LA. And I was like, well, okay. Like, I also don't know at the same time. But yeah, soon
come.
Soon. Yes. How are you guys doing outside of that?
Good. I had a nice little cleanse yesterday of my skin. My skin does its own thing, and I understand my skin better in the last 2 years, basically since COVID. My skin just said, we don't know you, even though I never, you know, took the shot. So, my skin just has this thing, but like I understand it, and some people don't understand that I understand it, but sometimes it feels like I don't, because I just let it be, and then I'm like, okay, by next week I know we'll be in a better place. So yesterday I had my esthetician like pop things that I wanted her to see what I experience when I'm at home. And she was like, oh, wow. And I'm like, yeah, I saved these for you. So I'm glad you're having this moment. My skin
Did a lot of stuff come out?
100%. There was like 2 that were next to each other. And so she stabbed the middle of the 2, and then she like drains it one way and drains it one way. And she's like, oh my God, you should see this. And I said, girl, my mirror sees this all day. Sorry for the grossness, but my skin is feeling better. I feel better, and I can't wait till next week. Just preparing, because, I'm about to take a trip with my family. So.
Oh, yes.
That's still happening.
It's very affordable for families, but as far as I've been feeling, I was sick last week, so that's why we had the guests. And I host along with some other people this thing called Connected Camping. And last week was our last camp of the season. And we hosted like over 100 people. And what's so amazing is that this community has grown since 2020. Like we hit 6 figures in our business. So that's just so amazing. We also were able to like accommodate over like 2,000 people from all over the world come to Connected Camping, which always reminds me of like, when you do a business by yourself, you don't grow as fast as doing a business with a team. Because our team is so good. Like everybody is so good in their positioning.
It fits.
And it fits. And we've been growing so much. So shout out to Connected Camping. If you are here in Georgia, or if you plan to come to Georgia next year, please check out Connected Camping. We would love to host you.
Big love.
Amazing.
I love camp. The camp community, Connected Camping is what kept me in Atlanta as long as I've been here.
Oh,
seriously,
awesome.
No, and then you guys. No. No, but seriously, I went back to look at old emails. I asked to leave after 4 days of living here. Like it was not for me. But then I met normal people, and I was like, okay, it's not the whole city.
Right. Okay. So for today's topic, I want to discuss misconceptions. Okay. And so I think a lot of times I don't even know how these things come to me, but I want us to discuss things that are said about you, or are misconceptions that are out there about you, and then just kind of either if you know of them, or if you think people have this idea of who you are, especially being on social media and having such a following, what they see and what they maybe approach you with, and you're like, I'm not that girl. Wrong one. Or just even with family, let's talk about misconceptions. Do we all understand? Yasmine, you're giving me like...
I mean, I'm just thinking, do you want to jump in, Chari?
No, I think Chari's going to definitely jump in, because she is, I think her and I have had this conversation before. And so just seeing her like kind of nod on, I'm like, oh yeah, we have talked about this kind of stuff before. But yeah, let's share it with our listeners and our viewers.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and start us off, Rachel, I think that would be great.
Oh, I definitely just passed it to you.
Oh, me. Okay. Well, misconceptions. Here we are. I have a few. I think I like that you mentioned social media, family, and then even self, right? So sometimes we have a misconception of what you think yourself is, and then somebody else corrects you, and you're like, you didn't come off that way. And in your head, you're like, I thought I was being nice to you. So I'm going to start with social media. Misconception I feel like people think is that I have like this perfect relationship. I travel so much. Nothing bothers me. And what else about social media? A lot of it tracks though. And
I was gonna say,
and I don't care.
Check.
I don't care about certain things. So to unravel that, I think for me, specifically with social media, I do choose to share highlights of my life, and those are positive highlights. And not to knock anybody who shares like a full picture in their eyes, maybe like they shares the ups and the downs. But me personally, I choose to share happy moments. Sometimes I don't share moments of sadness of my personal relationship online because you can't really contain that. It's just a lot of negative energy. I believe in energy. I believe in if people talking about you and they bring in that negativity, I don't want that. And like I said, a lot of it tracks because some of it, I don't have a lot of negative moments in my relationship. So it does track where I'm excited to share happy moments. As far as like the misconception of I don't care or it's so carefree, I have that issue a lot with my family. I think specifically some of my sisters feel like I don't care about anything because I'm so go with the flow. In comparison to them, I'm very like flowy. And sometimes it feels like because they like, oh, Chari doesn't care. It just makes it seem like my opinion isn't like quality
valued.
Valued, or I don't know what I'm talking about because it's like she doesn't care. It doesn't matter what she thinks. And it's like, what?
And
guys?
what examples are they using that Chari doesn't care?
I would say,
like y'all trying to decide what to have for Thanksgiving, and it's like, oh, Chari don't care.
I truly don't. And that's what it's so hard because misconceptions be rooted from things.
And they let's talk about it. Run with it, and they take it and run with it.
It is rooted. Like it tracks. I don't be caring. It tracks, but then there's moments where I'm like, I actually do care about if we're wearing cream or beige in the photo. Like I kind of do care about that, those kind of things. I don't know specifically an example, but there has been moments of like, hold on, y'all, I do kind of care, or I do want to share my opinion, or I do have knowledge of these certain things, and it seems like I just don't care about things. So, yeah, that's mainly where it stems from, because it's hard because misconceptions has a foundation. It is rooted from something, to me, in my opinion.
It started
people
somewhere.
Are extracting it from somewhere. They're not crazy. They didn't just some people be starting random rumors, but a lot of it is just my foundation is positivity. My foundation is happiness, carefree, not caring about most things that some people will have a lot of care for. What are y'all thinking?
I would say, just to give Yasmine a bit more time for this SAT essay over here.
Right, she done put it in ChatGPT already.
I'm trying.
I'm going to say this.
I would definitely. So I'm gonna start with things that are like least important but still exist, and I would say like social media for sure. I have a presence on there, but not as, crazy, and or not crazy in a bad way, but I'm not as consistent. But there are thoughts and ideas where people won't reach out to you or include you in certain things because they make these assumptions that you're either always traveling or you're never here or some man is like funding your lifestyle. It's funny that you're laughing. No, at least there's a man actually in your life. Not that,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the fact that people have the audacity to even say that to you. Like,
yeah.
That's ballsy.
It's very ballsy. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's funny. Like, when I say it's funny, you're laughing. I'm like, it's crazy out here. But people will literally just be like, yeah. And I think we talk about this all the time, where we notice sometimes people say certain things just to converse with you.
Yes.
And
yes.
You don't know if they're being serious or not. And so you get into the space of not wanting to care or put too much emphasis on it. But even the fact that it left their mouth, it's like, hey, if you give me a chance to tell you where I stand or, what my situation is. No one is funding this lifestyle. I won't say that I've never been flown out, but everybody, I'm not flown out all the time is what I'm just saying. I'm paying for this myself. I think when we talk about family, my siblings tend to, not that they think that I don't care, I would say, even though it's close, but I get this thing where it's like, I go hard for my friends and not them and things like that. And it's like very wrong because I feel like I show up the same way for everyone. This sauce is, everybody get this sauce. Everybody, my business partner, my mama, my daddy, my grandma, y'all, everybody gets it. But there's this idea that because we're still friends, that somehow y'all not getting it, even though I may be on the naughty list on y'all books. You know what I'm saying? They don't know that.
Okay. That's what you meant by sauce. I thought you just meant like the entirety of you. You're saying like just the sassiness that maybe your family doesn't like about you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they just
so
see it as
think that you're not as saucy with us,
right?
As you are with them.
Yeah, or the things that
I want to let everybody know on her family side, everybody,
it's sauced up over here.
It's sauced up, dripping every day.
As y'all are saying dripping and sauced up, I have sweat running down my boobs. Like I'm like, it is sauced up over here.
If anything, we probably get more sauce because it's more candid.
Right.
Exactly. And I'm just more myself. And sometimes when I'm too myself or just too comfortable, things slip out. And I'm like, oh, I'm in a safe space. Yeah. So this can slip out. And so I think that's like the main two that I can think of. Or just a misconception. Oh, this one. Is like that you're pretty. So like, why are you not in a relationship kind of thing? It's like
that's a whole podcast topic in itself. I'm so happy that you mentioned that.
It's so triggering because it's like I recently met a guy who was just like, so what's your problem?
What?
Literally. So what's your problem? Because you're beautiful, you're this, you're smart. Based on our conversation, you have to have an issue because you're single, and I'm just like, why does it have to be me?
But maybe this is why I'm single, because I'm talking to you who talks to people like this.
Crazy.
These are my options. You, sir.
Yeah. And you're still getting a conversation out of me. Hello. Yes. It literally insane. And it's just like this idea that looking a certain way, body, face, whatever you present online, it should equal something. It's so annoying. Like, that's it for me for now.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Really good. I can relate a lot to what both of you said. But in terms of misconceptions for me, I had an employee once. For those who don't know, I manage my own branding agency, and I had someone on my team who, like, after maybe like a couple years of us working together, she was like, do you have bad days? And I was like, oh, what are you? Of course. Like, I'm a normal human being. And I think because I'm so positive, that sounds so ridiculous saying it. I want to vomit after it came out of my mouth. But I appear to be happy. I'm happy a lot. I'm a happy person. And so I think the misconception is that like I don't get down or sad or have bad days or have frustrating moments or like moments where I react and have anger outbursts or any type of emotional outbursts. So that's probably a more recent misconception. And then earlier in my life, it was that people thought I was mean or, but like my face, I am mean too. Like I also,
you have a lot of dualities happening here. I'm a happy person. I am mean too.
I don't give a damn. That's mine. I don't care.
There's contrast, right? I can be as unnice as I am nice, right? So usually before I go out into the world without trusting anyone or knowing my surroundings much, I don't want to be approached typically with no type of static. So I do put a face on, and that is just my New York face, okay? And it really gives, don't talk to me. Why are you here? Like, get out of my face. It does give that. but I'm learning to soften. So earlier on, it was like, you're mean, or like they finally meet me and they're like, you're so nice. I thought you were like so mean before. And it's like, I am mean, but I'm also nice. We could be friends. I like making friends.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see the very nice, because even sometimes you have like responses, even though we're friends, where I'm just where I'm like,
I'm scared.
I'm like, well, where I'm like, is she serious right now? In my mind, that's what I'm thinking, because I'm like, why is she, like, it seems so packaged, and maybe there's something that you've like been consciously working on. And I know you've worked on other things in your life where you want to be intentional about how others feel and like the space you're creating and all that. And so I think that's just what it is for me. Like, so
wait, are you saying the responses that she says surprises you because they're nice or mean?
No, because sometimes they're like overly nice, and I'm
okay.
It doesn't, for me, it doesn't feel authentic, where I'm like, where did that come from? No, I'm not saying like, I'm not saying you're not being authentic. I'm saying, I'm like, how? So I can see how someone could be like, why are you so nice? Where it's like, every little thing you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Why can't you just say okay and just move it? You know what I mean?
No,
and
it's so true. This is why I think it's important to mention, because I genuinely feel good about most things. Like, I don't know why or how. I mean, I could think of some ways that I got to this point, but I do work on myself a lot, which is probably a lot of it. And so, yeah, usually thoughts that are in my head are generally positive. So when people are like, it's my turn to speak, I'm like, no, this is amazing. It's fantastic. And it seems like such a, like, who thinks this way? Who is this happy? Me. It's me.
No, it's how she's responding, and just like, it's, and I'm like, why? You're still doing it. But anyway.
But like, we can track, like, it's been consistent with a strange, like, we can introduce Yasmine to a stranger, a family member, or somebody who doesn't speak the same language as her, and she's going to be consistently nice to all of them.
Yeah.
I love everybody.
I can't promise the same.
I can't either. Like, Chari and I have worked together, and like, Chari has had to come to me on a couple of occasions and be like, you are mean. Like, you're mean to them, and they're coming to me to tell on you. Like, that you're just being a boss to them. And I'm just like, the people who know me know I'm not like that, but you're not finna get away with stuff. Like, I'm just like, and my business partner may relate to this, but like, I'm the type of person, I don't like fluff. Like, especially in spaces where I have to create solutions. I don't care about any of the fluff. I just want to get to it. So,
but you can like effectively, and this is effective communication, or just like learning to work on yourself, or if you do care about how other people feel, is the importance of understanding like how people feel about you will change the work they do for you. So, you know, you're not wanting fluff. I don't agree to do fluff, but I do think that there's a better way to communicate. Because I know all of us being from New York and like, you know, we're just island, like, we're very rigid. Sometimes too much. That is like, can you just say hi? And that's just it. Just say hi. How are you?
I'm not and
it goes such a long way. Such a long way. It could feel so inauthentic, but as, you know, you keep doing it, then you start to really mean it. Like, no, for real. Like, hi, how are you? Because I'm asking you this, and I know you're going to be in a better headspace. I'm going to be in a better headspace. Better headspace. But it works. I think we should all take a page out of Yasmine's book and be constantly working on ourselves to be the nicer person.
Agreed.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like I said, I'm from New York. I'm from New York at the end of the day.
And you're Jamaican.
And I'm Jamaican. I remember when I met my college roommate, she said to me, I knew not to hug you when I met you. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I definitely gave that energy. Like, I was a terrible person.
So who, I guess, Yasmine, who would you say you saw be this person that you're naturally emulating, or it's easy for you to tap into? If there is someone.
Yeah, it's not that I'm emulating something. I am giving a vibe. right? I always like to shift the atmosphere. Like, how can this moment feel better? Is that me
you have
saying
said
something
that about your food?
My food?
Yeah, you said you're doing this. You said you were doing this new thing where when you're having an experience, you ask yourself, "How can I make it better?" And if it's going down to go get a prosecco bottle, then that's what it is.
Literally. But it's like how hearing my life is so ridiculous. Who does this? It's like, how am I this nice but this bougie and ridiculous? Like, ridiculous. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. It's like, how can I feel like what's the nice thing to say? But it's not like I'm thinking what's a nice thing to say. Nice things to say are on my mind generally.
Okay.
Like, it's not like I am shifting anything. If I've meditated that day, if I've had an orgasm recently, if there's a glass of wine nearby, I'm in a good mood, child. Like, it's nothing for me to really. So
you
it's
might be onto something with that. The last bit you just said, actually, because my brain is always going to try to make something make sense, and I'm like, makes a lot more sense.
You see, that's why I'm always in a good space. I'm always in a good space, babes. I get rest. I stay hydrated. I mind my business.
You take care of you.
I take care of me. So when you ask me what we want for lunch, I feel good, babes. Whatever you like.
I don't want to say what I'm thinking about right now, but
say it.
What a lot of what you just said it tracks so much more now because I'm like, I can relate to being in certain spaces when I'm in a good space.
Hello.
Yeah.
In short, when you're in a good space, the energy is different. Then the energy's different.
That's how I do it. I'm not emulating anybody. I just feel good, and so good things just come out of my mouth and get into it.
I can totally relate because it's like, like I said earlier, me being positive or not trying to put negativity out, like I truly don't be thinking about a lot of negative things or what I show on social media is really who I am. Now, the misconception is people thinking that they're going to get, hey guys, what's up? Oh, do you want to do this? You're not going to get that at Publix. Maybe I'm on the phone. My daughter's asking for a cookie. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to eat for dinner. And you may not get that person who has time to set up a camera to muster up the energy to say, hey, so what are some things that you guys can like kind of ask the audience about misconceptions or like working through misconceptions? Because Yasmine, you said that you were a certain type of way until you decided not to be that way.
Yeah. But I didn't do that based off misconceptions. I think my advice to anyone facing a misconception is what Chari and Rachel spoke to earlier. There's some truth rooted in it, right? Your face is your face for a reason. Fix your face. But with me, my journey was all about the self. Like, that's what helped me soften was just understanding that I had my guard up. Why do I have my guard up? Why am I putting up a fight here? And that changed my how people perceived me because it changed who I was genuinely. So that's what I would recommend to anybody. Like, understand that the misconception is just like a stereotype. It's rooted in some truth, and just work through why you are doing these things or why people get this version of you. Because even though you're like, this is not who I am, but this is how you are presenting.
Perceived, yep.
Right. Yeah. So figure out what that is. For me, it looked like my face had rest and be face, but it was just because I was a guarded person and I learned how to let my guard down.
Especially with the cut, it's like another.
I already know. I look like
layer.
A ninja. I know.
It's you strike it. I would say I think there has to be a happy balance between what Yasmine said and just understanding that I hear this all the time where people say in your 20s, you care a lot about what people say. And I heard this literally this week. In your 20s, you care a lot about what people say. In your 30s, you start to not really, you're like, I'm indifferent. In your 40s, you really don't care about what anyone's saying. In your 50s, you realize you don't care if they're even thinking about you. So you're like, it probably wasn't even me. So I think I'm just entering that space of, and I wish I was in this space in my 20s, but that's part of the journey, is just also be okay with there being misconceptions, because I think it's just what it is. It's not going anywhere, and people are going to have their thoughts and their questions and whatnot. And so If they're not asking you, then they're entitled to their thoughts and their beliefs about you. But of course, being in a space of being happy, being genuinely happy, having internal joy, it'll ooze out and people will pick up the vibe, as Yasmine said.
I'm telling you.
That's like the biggest thing. It's just knowing the balance of like, of course, respecting people and all that great stuff, but also being like, it's okay if you thought this about me.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
care.
true. Because people do be projecting. People do be projecting. Someone who takes a trip once a year for a week will look at us and be like, "You're never home." Yeah. Compared to that, I can see how that would be.
And I'm like,
wild.
yes, I am. Monday through Wednesday. Thursday through Sunday, I'm gone.
I think too the biggest thing about hearing all that is you still have the choice to decide to pick and choose what you want to hear from what someone's saying. And I think Rachel mentioned about like asking questions. So if somebody has this misconception of you being a mean person, ask them a little bit more and put the defensiveness to the side if you're going on that journey of wanting to work on yourself. Because when you want to work on yourself, other people are also involved. And I think sometimes there is a misconception of working on yourself and you're forgetting that you still live in a world. Yeah. Like, because you're working on yourself, I believe that the evilness is going to try to come attack you even more.
Using people.
So be open to knowing that because you're making this conscious decision to work on yourself, maybe you can communicate and try to adjust and ask a little bit more questions as to why somebody is perceiving you the way that they're perceiving you, so you can know specifically on what to work on. Yeah. All right. So don't cancel me, but I'm going to be not as hilarious as Yazzie. But at my internship, and I work at a shelter, and I was working with a nurse, and we have about like 50 clients there who are men, and the amount of men who are taking HIV medication astound me. Yeah. And, you know, you hear the statistics, you hear it, you read it, you see the commercials. It's one thing to hear and see, but it's another thing to be filling out, you know, medications and seeing the clients come in, take their medication. And I'm so happy that we do have medication for them to take and that my job is able to supply that for them. But
Speaking since just to even, I've learned that although in Atlanta specifically, there is a high amount for African American men, I've heard that women are getting it at a much quicker rate than men did because of the just thinking he good and you don't know and it's a one-time thing and this and so the rate that they're getting it is just like insane. Yeah, I heard that from a clinic.
The reason why I used men is because my shelter is just 100% all men. But that is definitely a good point. People have the misconception or stereotype that, you know, women don't get it or they can't. And now with these medications that you can have it and still have sex, some people are like misusing that.
Yeah.
Or not being 100% truthful or not taking it or can't afford it all the way.
Yeah.
Well, for the listener, there's a brand that does condom underwear. So you just wear your underwear and you can still have a fun time with your hands or other areas.
So I don't think the issue is them not quite knowing, but that's a good point.
Like that there's options. You can still have a good time with your person.
It's true. And if you feel that you have been exposed since we're here, you do have a 36-hour window to get on a pill that's 30 days long. And it essentially takes everything out your system. So
really?
There's a 36-hour window. So after those 36 hours, you know, obviously it doesn't show up on the 4th day. It could show up 6 months later, but if you know you've been with someone and they share with you that they don't know their status or whatever, and they're not clear, 36-hour window, you have to take this pill. And the pill is, I don't know if it's every day or how often every day, but it's for 30 days and you will be snatched.
That being said, y'all, get tested.
Yes.
We love y'all.
Please get tested.
Yes. Thank you for listening. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube,
Patreon,
Patreon, all the good stuff.
Yes,
all the good stuff.
Follow us.
We are exiting. Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.